2 days ago, Jeff McDonald posted the following. Just watched the sunrise from above the clouds. So stoked. Jeff got 19 likes and 7 comments. Not bad, Jeff. Geico has a comment to add that may make you even more stoked. In just 15 minutes, you could save hundreds of dollars on car insurance by switching to Geico. And if that doesn't put your head above the clouds, you'll have the extra money to scale a peak that will. Hashtag on cloud 9, hashtag savings.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Blog Talk Radio.
Live. Under the Mat Radio. This is your host, Tech, with co-host
NSC Game Boy. What it is, what it do.
Yes, and of course, with our lead correspondent,
Shinblade, the sensational one, coming in with the shy hands. What's going on, guys?
Doing all right.
What's going on, man?
Shin coming in with the shy hands.
I just got in, coming off a good day. Just feeling good right now.
Everybody Shin is feeling good. Haven't heard Shin say that in a minute, so it must be a special day. Shin feeling good. Shy hands on deck.
Of course, you missed that from Shelly Martinez over the weekend.
Oh, yes, definitely so. Everybody, today's episode is entitled Guerrero Special, because at the top of the hour at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, we will have none other than former TNA road agent and Spanish color commentator for TNA Impact. Also, he is one of the eldest brothers of the Great Guerrero family. Some of y'all know him infamously as the Goobledy Gooker. He also was Lasertron in the NWA. He's done so much great things. We're bringing in Hector Guerrero. Will be joining us at the top of the hour. And, of course, momentarily we're going to be bringing in a very special guest. Mr. Ray Banks will be coming in, talking about the great Negro League baseball history coming up this weekend on Saturday here in Baltimore. The Negro Leagues will have a very special event celebrating the great lineage of Negro League players and their great efforts in the world of sports. So with that being said, of course, you can follow this show and on Twitter at @tech_UTMR. You can follow NSC Game Boy at
NSC Game Boy, spelled correctly.
And please do, spell it correctly. And you can follow Shinblade at
Sensational1 on Twitter. I'll let you guess that one.
I'll be guessing.
Yeah, we'll keep on guessing. Also, please don't forget to follow us on Facebook under the Mats Radio. Please like our page. Please make the white thumb turn blue. Of course, as NSC Game Boy says, what do you say about the thumbs, NSC?
No, we need your thumbs, please.
Yes, we need your thumbs. Yeah. Yes, we do. Please continue to like and add us to your group page on Facebook under the Mats Radio. If you need to email us with any concerns, any inquiries, any questions, email us at underthematsradio@gmail.com. Check out our Instagram page, which is all one word, Under the Mats Radio. Check us out on YouTube with the same show name, Under the Mats Radio. Check out the Shy Blogs. Bitch, y'all like our road trips that Shinblade does on his Facebook, which is called Shinblade. And am I missing anything else? That was it.
I think that's it.
Yeah, I think it is. With that being said, I believe we have our next special guest coming in right now. We're going to bring him in right now live. Welcome to Under the Mat Radio, sir. 706 area code. Yes.
Hey, yeah, it was me.
Hey, what's going on?
Oh, I didn't know you were bringing me in. Sorry, I thought you were going to bring in Hector first.
No, I had to call in at 8 p.m., but everybody, this is Toph. I have a co-co.
Hey,
how you
Toph.
feeling, man?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Doing good.
Hey.
How you been living?
I'm good. Just living. Just checking out all this riot stuff. How you guys doing up there?
Oh, we good.
Yeah, we better. We off punishment.
Yeah, we all punishment.
Yeah.
Yeah, we on good behavior.
Is the curfew still going on, or did they cancel that?
Oh, no. No, it's all
Yeah, they
over.
canceled it 2 days ago.
Okay.
Yeah, 2
That's
days
good,
early.
Then.
We was good peoples. It was good old people.
Did you clap your hands like the New Day?
I think NSC Game Boy did.
Oh, yeah, I did. I stomped my feet and everything. I just didn't wear blue because it's too shiny. Hurts your eyes.
He even had tears in his eyes. Every day. Real quick, Toph, since you are calling in, we do want to officially send our condolences to you. I know that you lost a family member not too long ago, so we just want to send all our love to you and your family.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
No problem at all. I believe we have another caller coming in. Are you code 443?
Yes.
Are you code 443?
Yes, I'm 443. Yes, I am.
Yes. How you doing, sir? Welcome to Under the Mat Radio.
How you doing? Good afternoon, sir.
Doing good. Is this Ray Banks?
Yeah, this is Ray Banks, the Negro League Goodwill Ambassador.
Yes. Welcome, brother. Welcome. We thank you so much for calling in.
Yeah,
Thank you for having me
no
on.
Problem.
Thank you.
No problem. With that being said, Ray, you get a chance, go in and give us an introduction of what you do and everything about the Negro League event coming up and everything that you do.
Yes. Well, I'm known as the Negro League Goodwill Ambassador, and my job and my passion in life now is to keep the legacy alive for those men and the 3 women who play in the Negro League, to keep their legacy alive. And this coming Saturday, which is May the 9th, being the second Saturday in the month of May, is a special day for us. Our former Governor O'Malley signed a bill on May the 7th, 2009, stating that the second Saturday in the month of May is now Negro League Baseball Day in the state of Maryland. And a lot of people don't realize that. But because of that signing, we're having an event this coming Saturday up at the Forum Caterers from 1 to 5. From 1 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to be honoring 6 honorees. And one of the honorees is a former Negro League baseball player, Pedro Sierra. He played for a couple of... Yeah, Pedro Sierra. He's going to be honored along with some other guests, surprise guests, that is. But the movie Madonna made called A League of Their Own, where the white women played baseball.
Yes.
I don't know if you remember seeing that with Tom Hanks and Rosie O'Donnell and Madonna.
Yes,
well, the lady who actually played that year was 1946 and 47. Of course, the movie has actors portraying her. In the movie, her name was Rocky. Her real name is Ruth Hartman Kramer. And, gentlemen, she is one of our honorees this Saturday at our event at 88 years old. Yes, and she's also in the Hall of Fame up in Cooperstown. To have her at our event, and the only survivor of the 3 black women who played in the Negro League, Tony Stone, Connie Morgan, they're both deceased, but Mamie Pena Johnson is still alive. Well, Mamie will be there at the Forum along with Miss Ruth Hartman Kramer. And to have both of them women the same day in the same setting, that's history. And when you come to our event, anyone who wishes to come, you wear anything that's baseball related, you come and enjoy yourself with us. There will be 3 Oriole players. I believe Al Bunbury, a former player by the name of Fred Valentine, who also played for the Washington Senators, and I think Ken Dixon. 3 autographs will be signed by those Oriole players. And there will be some Negro League players on hand to entertain the folks that come. And we're doing this in commemorating the Negro League Day in the state of Maryland.
All right.
Wow. That is great.
Yes.
That is great. That is great news, definitely. Me, myself, is a big baseball fan, of course. So, of course, that is good news to my ears, as we all definitely love baseball and do enjoy the great pastime of America. Shimblade?
Actually, I'm tongue-tied about, when he was talking about all the legends and everything, but I always wanted to ask Ray, what drove your interest into being a historian for the Negro League Baseball, for this organization?
I am so glad you said that. I could not leave out the very beginning of my passion. I'm a baseball enthusiast. I graduated from Dunbar in 1965. I played baseball at Dunbar. I played a limited ball baseball. I played AA fast pitch. Now I'm playing senior slow pitch, and I'll be 68 years old this coming June the 28th when I play 6 softball games a week. However, what drove me to the Negro League back in 1995, Leon Day passed away. I had no idea who Leon Day was. But in 1996, I heard about a park dedication in West Baltimore to one of the Hall of Famers in a Negro League player by the name of Leon Day, which I never heard anything about. I knew nothing about Negro League until I met his widow, Miss Geraldine Day. So on the radio and TV, I heard about this park dedication. I live in East Baltimore. I got in my car, drove over to Leon Day's park, and I met all these players. I met Miss Geraldine Day, and I asked her, I'm a baseball enthusiast, Mrs. Day. I would love to be able to do something to keep your husband's legacy alive. She said, Mr. Banks, you can do whatever you want. And I was highly honored to have met her, and I have been doing that ever since. That lady, Miss Geraldine Day, she knows baseball. She did a lot of traveling with her husband. They met so many players like Satchel Paige back in the day, Buck O'Neill, and just to hear the stories from her, I felt her passion. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing now, because of Miss Geraldine Day, trying to keep that legacy alive. And we have to pass this information down on to our youth to keep this going for us. And we pray that one day that it will be a school curriculum in the Baltimore City schools and the Baltimore County to teach Negro League baseball.
Yes, I feel it should be. I definitely do.
I'm a fan of Black history, and I'm a fan of Black history, and that was just amazing to me that even that small story just means so much. And I had the honor of speaking with you on Martin Luther King Day of all days, and it was just it was just a great excitement to see all the memorabilia and all the memorabilia that you had. And I can't wait to go to this museum, which is in Owens Mills.
Yes. And I must tell you about that. Mr. Hubert B. Simmons. Mr. Simmons, I met Mr. Simmons many, many years ago. Mr. Simmons played for the team in Baltimore. Baltimore had 2 teams, the Baltimore Black Sox and the Baltimore Elite Giants. But Mr. Simmons played for the Baltimore Elite Giants, and he used to get on us if we say elite. The word is elite. Elite Giants, and the museum is named after him. We had used to go out on different jobs and all to talk about Negro League baseball. I would pile all my stuff up in my car, and Mr. Simmons would come with me, and we'd go all over the place. We were even at the White House when President Bush was at the White House back then, and I had the opportunity of meeting President Bush with Mr. Simmons. Mr. Simmons was a gentleman who was like E.J. Hutton. When he walked in the room, he demanded attention, and he loved to teach Negro League baseball, especially to the youth. He had the opportunity of throwing out the first pitch at Camden Yard many, many years ago, and he said he was walking on air when he walked out there, and he practiced so hard, and he's never thrown the ball in the dirt at all. And then we had a church in West Baltimore, Lockyer Presbyterian Church. We needed a place to call our own to show off all the items we had. So Lockyer Presbyterian Church became our first museum. What happened, we outgrew that one room, and we were blessed to meet the Baltimore County Executive, Kevin Kamenetz, a couple of years ago at the Pike's Diner. We had a craft feast, and the gentleman mentioned that he would do all he could to help us to expand and relocate. And a couple of months later, he called us up and said there's a great possibility you could be in the new library in Owings Mills. And we kept meeting with him. We met with him at his office out in Towson. We also met with the designers, Adler, who designed everything for us. And the next thing I knew, gentlemen, the Adler designers came over to the locker and said, Mr. Banks, just pick out everything you want to go in the museum out at the library. And I did that, and you have to go see it. It's a free admission. It's open 7 days a week. It's in the New Orleans Mills Library at Painters Mill Road, and artifacts on the first, second, and third level. We also have a free summer camp the last week of July. Kids from ages 6 to 12 years old. And we have a lot of artifacts and information like Charlie Pride, the first black country western singer. A lot of folks don't know, and I didn't know, that Charlie Pride also played baseball in the Negro League. Louis Armstrong had his own team. Bojangles, a lot of the entertainers used to give their monies to the Civil Rights Movement as well as the Negro League. But you've got to go see that museum. It opened up last March the 27th, thanks to the Baltimore County Executive. It's a free admission.
Oh.
Wow.
Yes.
We want to put that on the page.
Please.
Yes, you do.
And during our opening ceremonies, a lot of people support us. We had 2 Tuskegee Airmen, Dr. Barron and Lieutenant Louis, and even some of the Buffalo Soldiers representatives were there with our grand opening. We help each other. That's what it's all about.
That is true. Got to help each other out and support each other.
Yes.
I have a question I wanted to ask. And with society being now, a lot of the athletes, a lot of the black athletes and stuff, more stubborn, a lot of them are selfish. They don't really give back to their communities. They pretty much, and I know a lot of people think I'm talking about Mayweather and everything, but I mean there's other athletes out there who really have not given back to the era and to those people who pretty much helped pave the way. So my question to you is that how does it feel that you're branching out this part of history to people who not aware? And how, so it's 2-part. And how do it feel to see these gentlemen and women out there not giving back after all these sacrifices that these athletes have made in the Negro Leagues?
Well, it kind of hurts a little bit due to the fact that what keeps me grounded, and I mean that in a sincere way, is the fact that by talking to Mr. Arlene Day, by talking to Buck O'Neill, myself, talking to those former Negro League players, I understand what they went through. They had it was no bitterness with them. They played for the love of the game. But the guys today are making mega dollars, and many of them could do so much to reach out to our youth and all. And it hurts me sometimes when I hear that it's a group or a location over here where we need a baseball field and the kids can play. I know that Cal Ripken does a lot because we do have artifacts on the second floor in Aberdeen, Maryland. I've got artifacts up there on display on a permanent basis of Negro League baseball memorabilia. But it's a lot more needs to be done. Adam Jones, I commend him for what he's doing. He reaches out a whole lot to our youth, and even though everybody knows what Ray Lewis does, he's a leader. But the baseball aspect, when I asked about the kids playing baseball, especially the males, why don't you want to play baseball? Well, some of the reasons they give me, or excuses, whatever way you want to take that, is that the game itself is too boring of a game. And it's too slow. And technology, as you know, gentlemen, is good in one instinct. And on the other hand, it kind of makes the kids of today not lazy, but lacking in the kind of activities I had in recreation when I was coming up. You couldn't get me out of the streets. I was playing baseball 8 days a week. I put another day in a week just to get out there and play ball. But my dream and my goal is to, I say this in a sincere way, I have riches because I have faith in our Maker, the dear Lord. If I would meet Oprah one day, and I would love for her to build in the inner city a indoor Negro League complex, baseball, but not only baseball, but have a mentoring program for these kids. And all of these players that play for the Baltimore Orioles, whether they're Latino, black, or white, would be able to be a part of this to help everything grow. And when I say the word Latino and Mexican ball players, they also played an important role, like the Negro League ball players did back in the day, of playing ball. And the guys that are playing professionally right now, a lot of them don't know about the Negro League. And they should. They should know about the Negro League, but they don't. And I'm trying to do everything that I can in a small way to keep Mr. Simmons' legacy alive, as well as Leon Day's legacy alive, and all the other players, and those 3 women that played in the Negro League.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for answering my question. Tech?
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
I wanted to ask is, how close are you to getting Negro Leagues being taught in school, especially here in Baltimore City?
During our grand opening of the Hubert V. Simmons Museum of Negro League Baseball, we invited the Baltimore City School Superintendent as well as the Baltimore County School Superintendent. I believe one of them did make it, and one sent a representative from them to let them see where the museum is in a library, which is an educational tool on the first, second, and third floor, how vital it is to have this information taught in school. We haven't really reached out 100%, but we're working on this. And everybody I talk to say this needs to be taught in the schools. And this is my dream, this is my goal, and if any way anybody out there in Radio Land can really help out in doing this, not years from now, but now. It's needed right now. It's needed right now. And I think there is a way it can be done without any disruption to the curriculum that's going on. And I'm sure the Baltimore City as well as the Baltimore County would be more than happy to be able to teach Negro League baseball.
Yeah, I feel it should be taught. I mean, after all, I mean, other areas of sports is taught. You know, you have the NFL, Major League Baseball, even hockey. And I feel, you know, Negro Leagues is a very important part of history. I'm probably the biggest baseball fan as far as my whole show and company, but I feel always should be taught. I remember there's a video game called MLB The Show, and of course it's always comes out every year on the PlayStation. And I remember I got so excited. This was on PlayStation 2 some years ago. And I remember there was, I'm trying to think of the guy named, he just passed away. He was a legendary Negro League player, and they had a video of him. And you can unlock classic Negro League. Say it again?
Was it Ernie Banks?
It wasn't Ernie Banks. It was someone else. If I hear his name, I would know. But I remember maybe it was him. It was. I know he passed away a few years ago, but I was excited because
maybe I'll look it
Negro
up.
League. Yeah. Shannon, one of our co-sponsors, probably look it up. But I got excited because it was a video of him, and he was talking about the Negro Leagues and how important it was, and he was going through the history of Ernie Banks and talking about Jackie Robinson and, you know, even more players that may not be as famously known. Even some guys, Chino Smith, Ben Taylor, other guys, and I thought it was great. Matter of fact, it was a mode on a game where if you played with the Negro League players, you played it. It was like an older feel. It wasn't like all color. It was kind of black and white. It had that kind of grainy, old school feel to it. So that's definitely something that I look forward to seeing get more press.
Yes. And do you know what we can do because of what just took place the last couple of weeks in our city? I know that one of the young men, I think from, one of the gangs had mentioned that they don't have any recreation anymore. Well, I know when I was coming up, we had recreation. Of course, you closed the recreation centers down and you forced the young men on the street. But one of them made a statement that we don't have any recreation centers, and I got an idea that if we had some, those guys could probably get them together, and you might have a lot of good players. You never know the ability of a person until they get out there and try to play, whether it's baseball or football. By me being a baseball man, of course, I've got to push baseball. But it's a lot of talent out there. It's a lot of talent that we will never see because they don't have the opportunities to present themselves and to show themselves. But if I had a chance to go around and the new field up on 33rd Street, you know, where the YMCA, where Memorial Stadium used to be.
Yeah.
That baseball field is not being used all the time. And I'm sure a lot of the youth in the inner city are unaware of that. Where Leon Days Park is, it needs some renovation down there. I know the football field is on the other side, but a lot of folks are not playing baseball down there like they should. They're concentrating on the football aspect. But if you build, the old saying, if you build, they will come, that used to be true. Sometimes you can build, and because in today's world, it's hard to get them to come. You almost got to grab them by the arm and take them yourself. But I'm willing to do all I can to reach out to our youth and the adults in using sports as a start. That's where I start. That's my nucleus. And then from sports, you build up to education, mentoring. You'd be surprised what can happen in a positive way.
Yeah, that is true. It is true. Shimblade?
I'm sorry. I'm just looking up the player that you were talking about on MLB The Show. Was that like 2005 or 2006?
Yes, that was the one.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just looking up right now, and I'll tell you. I'll chime in and I'll tell you.
Yes, go ahead. Definitely do. Could you give us, Ray? Let us know the excitement and how big this event is that's coming up this Saturday. How do you feel within you? Yes.
Well, because it's in memory of Mr. Simmons, and I am. Matter of fact, as you talk to me, I get goose pimples. It comes once a year, which is the second Saturday we celebrate Negro League Baseball Day in the state of Maryland. This is our biggest fundraiser. To have the Orioles, 3 Oriole players there. The Oriole Bird usually comes and entertain the kids. I'm not sure when he's coming this year. People that come dressed up in Negro League attire or baseball, Orioles, what have you. I am so happy that we're able to do this once a year to let people know that they can come out and enjoy themselves in an atmosphere of history. When you come there, you will see life-size pictures, 6 feet by 3 feet wide, of Satchel Paige, Leon Day, Cool Papa Bell, the fastest Negro League player in the Negro League. Players, you have about 15 of those around the wall. You will come and meet and greet players themselves. You can come and really touch and feel and talk to former Negro League players at this setting. But to come and see Mamie Peanut Johnson, the black female there, the only one out of the 3, on the premises with the little white lady, Miss Ruth Hartman Kramer. And Mamie, by the way, was with little Monet Davis, who was pitching the Little League World Series. Remember that, fellas? Yeah. And we're trying to get her to come up with this coming Saturday, which is going to be a tight schedule for us. And then come and see some of the honorees there and hear and feel the excitement of being around nothing but history. There will be autographs, as I mentioned before. I'll be there with my security blanket, I call it, my Negro League jersey, and giving away things, special surprises and everything. But to be able to talk to these players and to be a part of history, it's just out of sight. And I get goose pimples. I pray that everything goes well this weekend, this Saturday. I know Mr. Simmons is looking down on us with nothing but smiles. And I hope that everyone who can make it, it's $55 for a ticket, for the adults, that is, if you do come. And the kids are $30 under 12 years old. But and we do, like I said, have a free summer camp. But this week, this Saturday, is very, very special and very, very meaningful for us, our museum, and what we're doing. This is our mission, and this is my passion. This is my mission in life, to keep this legacy alive, keep it going.
Yes. All right. Want to ask you, too, is what is your vision for all of the Negro Leagues? You know, so this is a passion of yours. Where do you want to see yourself and see your goal and your purpose with a year from now?
A year from now, I would like to maybe walk down the street and be able to approach an oncoming person, whether it's male or female, youth or adult, and strike up a conversation about Negro League baseball and have them strike up a conversation to me, knowing that somewhere along the line they've learned about Negro League baseball. I hope and pray that it will never be forgotten. There's so many of these men who are dying every day. When I met the oldest one, who died at 105 years old, his name was Benito Navarro. We lost a gentleman by the name of Ted Double-Duty Ratcliffe. He was 103 years old. Not too many months ago, we lost Minnie Minoso. As you know, Ernie Banks, who also played in the Negro League. I can go on and on with the people who are dying, but it would be very gratifying to me to know that someone is keeping this legacy alive a year from now. I want to go into all the barbershops, gentlemen. I don't know how you can help me with this, to put pictures on the wall, whether it be city or county. When we are waiting to get haircuts, you have a picture in the frame of a Negro League ball player with a little bio underneath of him. The guys can sit there and look up and educate themselves with getting that word out. And to have this done now, everywhere you go, I just want Negro League in your face in a positive way that you won't forget. So a year from now, if people are still carrying on that conversation, and I'm blessed to still be here on this earth, that'll be a blessing for me, believe me, just to hear someone talk about Negro League baseball and the way these men paved the way for these guys of today. And what Jackie Robinson did was phenomenal. No one else could have done that but Jackie.
Wow.
2 years. Yes.
I also came across a factoid that somebody sent me. Mr. Banks, have you remember in 2008 they had a special draft of surviving Negro League players to MLB?
Oh, you mind if I talk about that? That's
sure.
Blessing. The draft, I'm going to tell you why the draft happened. Buck O'Neill, who was a spokesperson in Kansas City for the Negro League and also played in the Negro League, the first black coach, he was never inducted in the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. So after he died, Major League Baseball, I'm sure, knew that that was a travesty, that this man should have been inducted. We all know Dave Winfield, who played for the New York Yankees. Dave Winfield took it upon himself to speak out, and he did something. He did a movement. He started the Negro League draft. I think it was in 2008 in Orlando, Florida. The draft meant that when Buck O'Neill passed away, there were two things done in memory of Buck O'Neill after his death. One was a Lifetime Achievement Award in the name of Buck O'Neill, and the other gentleman was the Negro League draft in Orlando, Florida. Every Negro League player had to pick every Major League team had to pick one Negro League player to represent them down in Orlando, Florida at this draft. There were 32, I think it was, teams then, and there were 32 players drafted. I was honored and blessed because Mr. Simmons was picked by the Baltimore Orioles. And
wow.
I flew down, took my first plane ride in 2008 to ride down Orlando, Florida. And when I got down there to see all these other players, that's when I met Charlie Pride, who was drafted by the Texas Rangers, the black female player, Mamie Pina Johnson, the only survivor of the three. She was drafted by the Washington Nationals. There was a guy named Benito Navarro. At that time, I think he was 102 years old, or 101. He was drafted by the New York Yankees. I could go on and on. But that was the purpose of the draft. Unfortunately, you could only have so many Negro League players picked because the number of teams, the Major League teams that were. Some of the players who were not picked to go wondered why those were the guys that were picked and not them. And I kind of explained to them, I said, look, at least this is a start. This is a start. Major League Baseball is thinking about you guys. They're not forgetting you. This is a start. But that was something that I was blessed to be a part of, and I've got so many pictures that will be on display this coming Saturday at our event. I took a lot of pictures down there, and I was very gratified to see all that Major League Baseball had started to do in 2008 because of Dave Winfield and a gentleman by the name of Jimmy Solomon, who worked under Bud Selig at the time, and he would have become our next baseball commissioner. But Mr. Solomon stepped down a couple of years ago. I think it was in April when he retired. Of course, as you know, we have a new baseball commissioner. But that draft was something I'll never forget. And Mr. Simmons, by going down there with him, I was on cloud. I was like a kid in a candy store, being around all those players. Yeah, and see that's another blessing. Those are the things that God has put me in the path of doing this, and I know I'm doing the right thing because He's paving the way for me to do these things. How many people would have had a chance to go down there to that draft? I went because I knew Mr. Simmons, which was a blessing. And he was picked by the Baltimore Orioles. And Scotty McGregor, who pitched for the Orioles, was down there with Mr. Simmons. Every player, every team had a representative. But I was very impressed with Scotty McGregor and, of course, Mr. Simmons.
Right. Wow.
That's wonderful.
It's great.
It is.
Oh, I want to give a special shout-out, if it's okay, Ray, for other black players recently. Since 2010, there's only been, if I'm right, 3 black professional baseball players that got to the Hall of Fame. Andre Dawson made it in 2010. Barry Larkin, who played for the Cincinnati Reds, played in 2012. He got inducted that year. And Frank Thomas just got inducted last year into the Hall of Fame. So I want to give a shout-out to Frank Thomas was one of my favorite baseball players growing up, Big Hurts. Used to always try to use him in the old baseball games, So Ozzie Smith, Frank Thomas, and Cal Ripken was my 3 favorite players in baseball.
Oh my goodness! Well, Frank Thomas was a big man.
Yeah, he was. When I was little, I didn't understand the designated hitter rule. And you always wonder why Frank Thomas, well, like if you remember back in the day, Greg Vaughn used to play for the Milwaukee Brewers back when they were they were the American League team back in the day before they went to the National League. You used to wonder, why isn't he on the field?
Right.
So I never understood it until I got older and realized that the designated hitter is the only player that doesn't have a position on the field. He bats for the pitcher in the American League role.
That's right. That's right. And gentlemen, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. We're listening.
When you mentioned that, the last week of July, gentlemen, at Cal Ripken Stadium, every year there's a Little League World Series that takes place in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. We all know about that. But do you know that Cal Ripken has a Little League World Series up in Aberdeen at his stadium? The last week of July, every day there are games going on, and it's a free admission.
Cool.
You have teams from Japan, Korea, Hawaii, Dominican Republic, Mexico, Australia. I can go on, and there are about 16 or 18 teams. Kids are ages from 10 to 12 years old, and I have been blessed every year they've had the World Series. I will bring my exhibit up there under a tent, and I set my memorabilia up, and those kids from the Dominican Republic, they come over, and they look at the display, the Australian kids, and they had one black team from Pine Bluff, Arkansas one year, and they came up, but they didn't do too well. They got beat. And I have a lot of trophies in my house that I give to people. If anybody needs trophies, just let me know. And I asked the coach, I said, sir, I know you guys are kind of down in the dumps, but at least you made it to the World Series. That's something to be thankful for. But I got trophies that I can bring you, or if you want to follow me home. This is a stranger I'm talking to from Arkansas, Pine Bluff, Arkansas. He looked at me if I was crazy. This is my heart talking now, but I said, if you want to follow me down to my house, I'll give you trophies for every kid on your team. And about a half hour later, he went and talked to the other manager. Do you know we had a caravan from Aberdeen, Maryland, coming south on 95 to my house? Those kids came down here, and I gave them all trophies. And I'm not saying that because it's I, me. It's just the fact that I have been blessed with so many things, and when I go out, I don't sell anything. I want to give, because that's what God wants us to do, and that's what we need to do to our fellow man. We treat them like we wanted to be treated ourselves, and those kids were smiles on their faces. And my jersey that's homemade, it's got a lot of patches on that I'll have this coming Saturday, is homemade. It just so happened when I got it, it's got the word Arkansas on the front of it, and I had it on. The kids looked at my jersey and thought I was from Arkansas. but I wasn't. It's an Arkansas Razorback shirt, but I converted into a Negro League shirt. But now it does have a symbolic meaning. The word Arkansas now reminds me of that little team from Pine Bluff, Arkansas, who played in Calvert in the Little League World Series. I just had to tell you that.
No, it's fine.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fine. I played baseball in Little League when I was in middle school, and I remember we won the World Series for the Little League baseball team. The team we won was the Cubs. We had like yellow. Our uniform was yellow, and actually I played every position on that team. And my favorite position was the pitcher, but there was a little favoritism going on even back in those days, so I had to keep playing third base. They sent me third base.
I heard he was pretty good too, Chuck.
Yeah, I was good. Yeah, I was really good.
Really?
They had me in the hot corner. Third base was the hot corner. So
that's right.
Definitely was. Right. So I definitely remember that. We was all crying and stuff. We won the World Series, had the little trophy. And
this is the big one. Like they show on ESPN and everything.
No. This was local. This was in the city.
Oh.
It was for the Yale. It was called the Yale Heights Boys Club, which is a good question. Okay. I'm not even sure if they still do Little League baseball anymore, but it was like it was like a different level of ages that you could play.
Yes.
So it was really good.
I had that answer what you were talking about from the video games with Negro League players in it, and
yes.
You may have said the show. I couldn't find anything from MLB the show. I found it off of a PlayStation 2 game called All-Star Baseball 2004.
Oh yeah, that's
and
it.
They had downloadable roster updates, and they had like Josh Gibson, Satchel Paige, and Buck O'Neil. And I think that was it though. I can't name them all because I'm on the site that just gives you the three and the et cetera behind it. So it was All-Star Baseball on the PlayStation 2 from Acclaim, which was not a very good video game franchise to me, but that was it.
I wonder Leon Day's name should be on that All-Star listing. And, every time Leon Day and Satchel Paige, they had to pitch against one another. I'm not saying this because I know Miss Geraldine Day, but every time you can read this for yourself and research, every time they met, Leon Day would win, I guess, 3 out of 4 games against Satch. But Satchel Paige, as you know, he's the most well-known entertainer in the Negro League as far as the most well-paid baseball player. And Satchel was like Muhammad Ali. Everything he predicted, he did. He really did that. And there were one of the Harlem Globetrotters, Goose Tatum, who played for the Harlem Globetrotters with basketball. But Goose Tatum, if you research him, he also played baseball in the Negro League for a team called the Indianapolis Clowns, the same team that Hank Aaron played for in the Negro League, and the same team that the 3 women had to join because they couldn't play with the white women because of the color of their skin, like the men couldn't play. And they joined the Indianapolis Clowns as well. Hank Aaron used to bat cross-handed when he played in the Negro League. And Josh Gibson is well known to be the home run king of all time. There's so many, of course, Barry Bonds. You have Hank Aaron, and you have Babe Ruth, and then which is not a Negro League player, but the home run king. And then you have a Japanese player, Sada Haraho. You ought to look him up. He used to bat like Ichiro, but that one leg he raises up. He was a home run king of all times. And what I would love for Major League Baseball to do is just put Josh Gibson's name up top where it belongs and put a little asterisk beside it because he deserves that. Anybody you talk to, Josh used to hit 60 and 70 home runs a year. And the reason they can't put it there permanently due to the fact back then they never kept proper statistics. And that's what they claim, and that's probably true. But everybody you talk to, like Monty Irvin, who played for the Giants team with Willie Mays and all of them. Monty is about 90-some years old. He's not doing too well. He lives out of town. And everybody talks about how well Josh could hit. He used to hit, I think he's the only one to hit a ball completely out of one of the stadiums, the Yankee Stadium. The man could hit, and he was a bad catcher. there's so many stories that you do research. And gentlemen, what I'm going to do for you, I'm going to say this on the air. I've got some DVDs, Negro League stories. What I'm going to do, I'm going to have my friend make 2 DVDs for me, and I'll make sure each one of you get a copy of those DVDs.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay. Wow.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for that.
And
Thank you.
I appreciate you doing what you're doing, and keep doing it. And another dream that I have, I want to do a reenactment. If I had a stadium, maybe Yankee Stadium, maybe Camden Yard, to have people dressed up in Negro League baseball uniforms and have somebody actually throw a black hat from the stands on the field, like they did Jackie Robinson. Bojangles used to tap dance on the dugout roof. The fans be all dressed up, because they used to come out of church on Sundays and go to the ball game all dressed up, and then used to wear the Panama straw hats. If I can find a field, do a reenactment, and everything that took place back in the day, have people and maybe Under Armour talk to the owner of I can't remember his name now, to make uniforms, and have you two guys portray one of the players. Believe me, this can be done.
Wow!
This is another dream of mine, and I got everything written down on paper, but everybody keeps telling me I'm a dreamer. But you have to dream. You have to dream, and eventually your dreams will become realities. But I love doing what I'm doing. This is my passion, and I'll never stop doing this for the rest of my life.
Wow.
It is true.
What an honor.
Well, we definitely will look forward to that, and we definitely will be honored to do that. Everything goes well, go well with that, too.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, we'd like to say, is there any last remarks that you have, Mr. Banks, on the event coming up this Saturday, or to our fans before we let you go?
Yes, I just, again, if you would love to come and be a part of the event that we're having, there's a number you can call. It's 410-597-9699 or 410-597-9797. Again, it's this coming Saturday, May the 9th. It's at the Forum Caterers, 4210 Primrose Avenue, Baltimore, Maryland, 21215. Adults are $55. Children 8 to 14 is $30. And the menu looks very good, gentlemen. And the Forum is very noted for fried chicken. We're going to have hot dogs, ballpark foods there. But you come and meet and greet and enjoy yourself with some of the history that will be on site at this venue. It's called the Annual Day of Honors. And if you look under the Hubert V. Simmons Museum of Negro League Baseball, everything is right there for your viewing purposes.
Okay.
That's great.
It is. Well, we definitely know Shimblade. If it's okay, I know he'll definitely be in touch with you after the show tonight. I'm going to go over some more details of what we discussed, and we thank you much for this time. It's been an honor to have you on the show.
Gentlemen, it's an honor for me for you guys having me on your show, and prayfully everything will go well, and that we meet. And I have 2 surprises for the both of you. All I need to do, what size jersey T-shirt do you wear, sir?
Okay. Well, me and see you there. I wear a large NFC Game Boy.
Large.
I wear like either a 3X, or 2X, or 3X.
Okay, I've already got them because one of the ball players who passed away a couple of years ago on a Thanksgiving Day, his wife gave me some things, and just give me a call. I'll meet you 2, and I've got something for you both pertaining to Negro League baseball. Okay.
Wow.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We'll wear them with
pride. My size.
All right.
Yes.
And thank you for having me, sir. Thank you both.
Thank you much, sir. We'll be talking to you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Everybody, that was the great Ray Banks, great historian and representative for the Negro Leagues and Negro League Baseball. Shimblade, your thoughts?
He said 2 jerseys and not 3, you know. Oh well, but
no, we got you.
At least we got a piece of Black history on the show, which is great, Doug. I've been so thrilled that he was on the show, and I thought it was very, very important, especially living in Baltimore, that we have a light of positivity around us amidst the current state of the industry right now. So it's great to have that.
Yes, it is. Definitely is. NFC Game Boy?
Yeah, don't worry about it, Shin. We got you, man. You know. It was an honor.
I mean, I'm not mugging or anything like that. I'm just.
No, I know. You know, I understand. You know, we're a team, so you know, we got you. But I just wanted to say, you know, with him being from Baltimore, and you know, the Leon Day, I know exactly where that park is and everything, and you know. With all the tension that's been happening with the rioting and everything and the meetings in Baltimore, really trying to get itself together, what a positive movement is it that the Negro League, you know, having this banquet, you know, annually, and, you know, for them to come together and really just bring a lot of positivity to the communities and everything. So it was a great guest, a great time. I hope the fans enjoyed it. I know it was something a little different, but it's a piece of history, and it's a piece of black history, which we don't have too much of, you know. But I really enjoyed it, you know. Tech?
Yes, I definitely enjoyed it. You know, everybody knows that I definitely love baseball. It's one of my favorite sports, so I thoroughly enjoyed the interview. So I definitely look forward to meeting up with Mr. Ray Banks and seeing what more business we can do with him. Toph, you still there, buddy?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. Do you had any words about the interview that we just did?
I thought it was very interesting how he wanted to get the Negro sports put in some of the educations in school and how like it's a requirement. It's very interesting. And I remember doing brief research about that when I was younger. I'm sure you guys have done it too, where, you know, it's Black History Month in February and teacher tells you to choose someone that's very important to Black history. You know, you do a paper on it when you're little, but you don't really look back on it. So I've heard about it. I have seen that movie, League of Their Own, seen it a few times. TNT shows it all the time. So I thought it was a very enlightening, very interesting interview.
Of course, anybody knows any of the classic lines from A League of Their Own?
No, not me.
I know the no crying in baseball. Like, there's no crying in baseball. Yeah, I know that line.
Yeah, it's one of the most famous lines in cinematic history. So definitely is. Like I say, I definitely think Ray Banks. Big ups to you, NFC Game Boy and Shin, for putting everything together. So we could have Ray Banks on the show and work with the Negro Leagues. So you might get a chance.
In that case, I'm sorry. In that case, before we move on, let me give a shout out to my girlfriends, Janae and Sherelle, because if it wasn't for them two, I wouldn't even knew that he was there in order to walk up and even talk to him to get the interview. So I can't take all the credit.
And plus, if it wasn't for Sherelle and Janae and also NFC Game Boy, I would have never known about it myself. Chain reaction.
So everybody think they, everybody pat on the back, get the pat on the back.
Yeah, everybody pats on the back.
Hashtag pat.
Okay, go ahead, Zach. I'm sorry.
No, yeah, you gotta give everybody Burl Howard's pats on the back.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Oh, really?
Definitely for that. They definitely can't wait. Hopefully things go well under the Mats Radio. We'll keep you updated. We may be at the special event this Saturday, live. So we'll keep everyone posted on the page. I'll turn over to Shinblade while we wait for Hector Guerrero to call in real quick to go over this past weekend's events.
This weekend we were at ACW, in Carroll County, Chaos at Carroll County 3. We saw matches featuring Kurt Angle, Shelly Martinez, Mickey James, and the Worm himself, Scotty 2 Hotty. We got great interviews. Unfortunately, Mr. Anderson wasn't able to show up. It was disheartening for me. But we had great moments with Kurt Angle, Shelly Martinez, Scotty Too Hottie. Mickey James left early, so, maybe next time for Mickey James. But shout out to Dr. D and Afrocentric Queen for taking pictures while we were conducting the interviews. I thought it was a great thing to do. It was just good. And also shout out to General T Storm and his comrade for greeting us at the door. No harm, no foul. I'll still call him T Storm until whatever. Also to Saltine's #1 fan, William. I can't say his last name. Minstricky.
I can't really say his name either.
Yeah, he's a Saltine fan. He's a hardcore Saltine fan. He kept saying Saltine's lines all through and through. So I don't think there's any more. I don't think there's any more shout outs for ACW. Shout out to big security guy.
Shout out to big old High Tower who's coaching on Under the Mat Radio. We do also we also do security close with LSR at certain events. So we call him High Tower. That's his name. He's the boss over us. We follow his directions. We do security for these events. So big shout out to him. Very good guy. Definitely. Also too, shout out to Floyd May. Say it again.
The girl that people were screaming about that she peed in front of the place.
It was some high schooler that kept yelling that she needed to go to the bathroom, and High Tower yelled out loud when she finally did use the bathroom. He yelled out loud in front of everybody that she finally used the bathroom. So everybody started doing the chants for her. So we all joined in. So
all right.
Random shout out to Floyd Mayweather and the Huggy Face. Mighty Team won again.
Really?
Mayweather can't. As I said, he can't read. He definitely gonna love to hug you after you get a couple of licks.
I got pause. I got a bit to say about that fight. Real quick. That honestly, for the fight of the century, it was kind of lackluster looking at it in hindsight. It was like just a sparring match. Pacquiao knew he was getting paid, and it looked like he was going to come in. But the real fans of boxing wanted blood, and honestly, this was until a couple of years from now. This is boxing's last hurrah. So to me, it went out on a dud. If you think about it, if you watch the replay and everything.
I disagree. I disagree with both of y'all. I disagree with there's a difference between fans of the sport and fans of action. Floyd Mayweather did exactly what I've been telling people he was going to do. I said it on Oscar's show last Thursday. I said it last week on Under the Mat. I even tweeted about it all day Saturday. Floyd Mayweather did exactly what he's supposed to do. He went in there, he embarrassed Pacquiao. Pacquiao looked at a whole bunch of slow, old... I think out of all his punches, they said only 12 of his punches actually connected with power punches, if I'm not mistaken. 12. Floyd Mayweather got hit 12 times in that whole match. 12 times. You know what I mean? He didn't just outbox him, he outclassed him. That's what he's supposed to do. Y'all thought Pacquiao was going to go in there and throw all them wild punches and all that. Floyd Mayweather is genius.
I wasn't that
no one thought that. No one thought. I mean, we didn't think that. One thing is for sure is Mayweather did outclass. He did what he always does. He's a defensive fighter. He's not really offensive, which is smart. But at the end of the day, I don't believe he embarrassed Pacquiao at all. But of course, now it's reports Pacquiao. Come on now. I know you're a Mayweather fan, but don't.
Hold up.
I give respect though, but it was a lackluster fight.
I'm a boxing fan. I'm more of a boxing fan than I am a wrestling fan. I'm a boxing fan.
I'm a boxing fan too, but I surely believe if you look at all the Pacquiao fights, I don't believe Mayweather really embarrassed Pacquiao over his career because he's been embarrassed worse than that. Let's not forget how Pacquiao got knocked out, was laid out on his face. So I'm saying
when last time Mayweather got knocked out?
No, listen to what I'm saying.
I'll wait.
Pacquiao's most embarrassing moment of his career isn't against Mayweather. It was when he got knocked out on his face. I forgot his name. So what I'm saying is that the fight winners, I thought Mayweather was too fast for Pacquiao to hit. Whenever Pacquiao did get some momentum, Mayweather moved away or he grabbed him. And now, and this is the thing that taints it, Mayweather beat him. I don't know why Pacquiao felt like, Mayweather didn't beat him. He did. He kept jamming you, beat you by points. You can't touch him. The end. He's a great fighter like that. But now with suspicions of Pacquiao being injured, now all of a sudden, his right shoulder's injured. So now, of course,
yes, he had to get surgery. He's going to be out for about a year.
So now people are going to make a excuse to saying that is why. I really don't think it would have mattered, even if Pacquiao was 100%. I don't think he could have beat Mayweather.
All such a mouth moment.
So, yeah, that's all such a mouth moment. I just feel Mayweather didn't embarrass Pacquiao as worse as he's been before. That's just my opinion. Because Pacquiao wasn't laying off face first.
Okay, I ain't going to say no more about it.
It was just a lackluster fight. I mean, maybe I was looking into it as
we got 30 seconds,
go out on a bang.
Before we bring it
because honestly, the biggest winner out of all this was Dana White. That was the biggest winner out of all this in the weekend. That's my opinion.
Oh, and shout out to you, biggest winners of the wallets of Floyd Mayweather and Pacquiao. Since I believe Mayweather made $200 million in this fight, and I think Pacquiao made 150.
Yeah.
So, and with of course, after we're done with the great Hector Guerrero, which we're bringing in momentarily, we'll finish up the Mayweather discussion. Because of course, fans, we do discuss boxing on this show as well. With all that being said, moving on from Mayweather, moving on from Pacquiao. We're about to bring you right now a very special guest. Great guy himself. He's a part of the great Guerrero family, former TNA road agent, former TNA Spanish color commentator. He used to be the Gooker. He was Lasertron in the NWA. He's done so many great work around the world, wrestled for AWA, NWA, WWF, all around the world. I'm bringing it right now, the man himself, live, Mr. Hector Guerrero. Welcome to Under the Mat Radio.
All right, you got Hector. I just want to make sure my connection's clear. Can you hear me?
Yeah. All right.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Hola. Good. Hola. Who am I talking to? I'm talking to Tech, right? And
yes,
who's the other
Tech
gentleman?
here.
All right,
I'm the co-host NSC Game Boy. How you doing, Hector?
All right, Game Boy. What's up, bro? Everything good?
Good.
And this is a sensational one, Shinblade, speaking La Espanol, so I was speaking a little bit of Spanish to you.
Okay, so you're Shin. Give me your name again, buddy, because it didn't come in properly.
Oh, sorry. Shinblade.
Shinblade. Okay, good.
Yes.
So I'm talking to Tech, Shinblade, and give me the other one again.
NSC Game Boy, but just call me Game Boy for short.
Game Boy.
There you
go. I gotta make sure. All right. Game Boy. All right.
My man.
We thank you for coming on to the show. It was a big honor to have you. What do you want us to call you? Hector, Mr. Guerrero? What would you like for us to refer you as?
Please, Hector. Hector's for call me by my first name. I'm going to call you your name. I'm going to call you Tech, Shinblade, and Game Boy. That's what I'm going to do. Is that okay with you guys?
Oh, yes, it is. It is.
Good. Well, first of all, let me tell you something. Before we get started, I want to say it's an honor and it's a privilege for me to be on your show. When you got a hold of me, I told my wife that because my wife was my secretary, she does everything for me, and thank God I have her. And she said about it, and I said, you know what, it'd be an honor, it'd be great to have this opportunity. Anything to do, to make things more understandable to everybody and to myself is probably one of the best things that we can do. And I'm sure the fans deserve to know the truth, and when you know the truth, it makes you set you free, like it says in the Bible. All right.
Yes.
All right, let's begin.
Yes. Speaking of truth.
We just got finished prayer.
Yes. Speaking of truth, well, we read your Twitter. I did read your tweet on Twitter, and I know you said, Hector, about letting people know the truth. Could you expound on that more of letting people know what truth is it. Are people lying or saying things against you or your work, or what do you like for them to know or clear the air about?
Well, okay. Listen. Well, first of all, I'm very thankful for all the years. Let's bring the first to the last thing. The last thing is that I'm not working for TNA anymore. The truth is they let me go. I didn't let them go. The truth is that they were very, very blessing to me. God blessed me very many years. I worked 8 years for them. Interesting that I got hired in March 2007, and I was asked, very nicely and then very, very professionally that they didn't need my services anymore, March 2015. So I'm very, very thankful that God gave me 8 wonderful years of memories, good work. I enjoyed every bit of it. I enjoyed working with the whole staff from the top to the bottom, talking from the Carters all the way down to everybody that's connected and does all the road work and everything everything. I had a very wonderful time there. My doors are always open to them, and I'm sure they know that. But I got to go on. I got to continue. I'm being blessed by God in many, many other areas, and I know this business from the back of my hand to the inside of myself and to inside of other people, that other people don't realize what I know about it. I know so much about it because I had a father that taught it to me. And I didn't learn it when I was in high school. I didn't learn it when I was in college. I didn't learn it anywhere. I learned it when I was a babe, when I was there. I was living it. When I was 7, 8 years old, I was helping sweep arena floors and help my dad get his business started. And I was out there helping put up rings and putting chairs so that people could sit down in the young arena that we had just started in Juarez, Mexico. I've been through it. I'm not going to tell you that I know everything, because anybody does not know anything. Times evolve, yes, they do, but the basics is always the same. And this is what I was trying to always tell the people, especially the owners of TNA, that the basics of wrestling is always the same. You take care of the basics, and it'll produce. It'll get big. It'll evolve. It'll go. And maybe it's about time that I start my own. So it's maybe a blessing that I don't work there no more, and a blessing that I did have all that beautiful, wonderful, enriched understanding that I had with every one of those beautiful people in there. There's no regrets. Yes, I'm very, very thankful and very, very about that situation. Let's go ahead. Let's get on. Is that good enough for you?
Great answer. Very well thought and very encouraging. Most people who leave, corporations like that, they usually have a sense of they're being lost, or they feel bitter, not only to the company but to the business. We have interviewed so many performers and wrestlers who just bitter, and they really haven't found that niche to really get over that hill. And you have so much optimism and so much insight, whereas you see it as, thank you for the opportunity. Our business has come to an end. Good luck to you, good luck to me, and so forth. And I think that's very, very encouraging, and it's something you just don't see in business anymore.
Well, you know what? Don't get me wrong, okay? I'm human too. I got the flesh part. The flesh part of me wanted to be, like you said, bitter and all that. But no, you know what? You can't. You can never look at something, because God is in control of everybody. God is in control of every one of our destinies. God is in control of all life. The reality is Him. The reality of truth is He is the Creator, and will we acknowledge it or not in our own ways? We all have our religions, we all have our beliefs, we all believe how and who He is, and we all either believe in Him or not. I respect that. Everybody's got a right to believe in what they want to do, as far as even the choice of lifestyle. I'm not talking against it. I'm not talking for it. I'm not talking ever for it in the bad way. I'm talking for it in God's way. God is God. He is here. He is more than like in His Word. He says that His invisible attributes are seen by His visible creation, and if we see the creation itself, it'll. What is it? It's a big light of His generosity, of His love, of His plan for us. And we have a bigger plan than just, living every day and working every day and going to our jobs every day. And like you beautiful gentlemen, you have a beautiful, this radio station. It's awesome, and how you in this blog and how you do this in the internet and how people are listening in right now, which I want to send a big hello, and I want to say thank you for everything that you've done to support the Guerrero family. And this Guerrero is very thankful. But going back to where God is, God gives us the opportunity to know each other along the way in our paths in our lives. And if we become bitter about that, because of the situations that are brought about, the everyday circumstances, or the everyday lifestyle that we each have, well, then we need to wake up and smell the roses, smell life, and understand that, there's a bigger picture here. The bigger picture is, what, we're being prepared, for those of us that understand, and those of us that want to understand, we are being prepared for an eternity, okay, with Him. But if we're either going to be with Him or not Him, that's up to everybody. And I'm not talking to your religion, because I'm not a religious person. Believe me, I've been in religion all my life until maybe the last 10, 15 years. I got away from it because I knew that it's like an octopus. If one tentacle doesn't grab you, another one will. Excuse me.
I actually agree with
God,
that.
And God is so big that that's not it. Now, is Christ real? Yes. Is His sacrifice in the Calvary real? Yes. Is that the way, truth, and life? Yes. All that is true. Yes, it is. And I want to make that sure right now that this Guerrero, as far as his family, and we are a God-fearing family, but this Guerrero believes in Christ. Yes, I do. Jesus is my Lord and my Savior. But I'm not into the religious part of it, that we all try to make, and we all try to, put our ifs and buts and this and that and try to make it this way. No, it's this way. And his way is that we should love one another, treat each other with respect, no matter what position or what level of society we think we are, or we put ourselves to be, or we make ourselves to be because of what we have or what we don't have. It's got nothing to do with that. It's got something to do more and more important. I was listening to a pastor. I can't remember his name. He's big in South Africa, and he was preaching, and he was preaching in El Paso one time when I was there in El Paso, and he was preaching about that he saw a man come in, and he was a hobo. He was a guy, and he was a drunk, and he had raggedy clothes, and that he had gone up and he had made an altar call, and that this gentleman walked up. I'm talking about the guy that was homeless, and he was all raggedy. And you could tell that he'd been drinking because people were moving away from him because he stunk, But then the Lord put into this pastor that was preaching that night. He says, "What is the difference between you and him?" And this pastor, he was preaching the gospel. He was doing what he believes God was doing, the most important thing. And this guy had been a drunk, had been out, in the world, had probably lost everything, had done everything, like, the prodigal son, probably lost all his life and all his earnings and everything. And then you know what the Lord said to him? After he said, "Well, Lord," he says, I don't know, I can't answer you. I don't know what's the difference between him and I. He didn't want to say it. He wanted to exalt himself. He says, but the Lord says, the only thing different between you and him, he says, is your suit. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? You say it was just a suit. There was just what he was wearing. There is no difference. God loves us, every one of us, from the tallest to the smallest, from the richest to the non-richest, from the highest to the lowest, from the different colors of races that we all are. Because I'm brown, I'm Mexican, I'm considered a Latino, and that's what it is. I'm happy of it. I'm thankful that today I'm getting a chance to say "Viva Mexico" because you know what? It's the Latino race, and we are celebrating our Battle of Puebla. But anyway, I wanted to put that down, and probably a little bit of understanding of how people think that I understand. I'm a godly man, yes, and I do believe in Jesus as my Lord. He is my Lord, yes, but I'm not a religious person, and I'm not gonna be a hypocrite either.
Okay. Right. I'm actually glad you said that about Cinco de Mayo because I I did research on Cinco de Mayo years ago, and it has absolutely nothing to do with drinking. So I'm glad that you actually mentioned that today.
Yeah, it's not really anything to do. It's to celebrate the Battle of Puebla, the Battle of Puebla where Mexico, where we won, and we Mexicans kicked some booty on the French. And through that, the French were not able to come because when that happened, the Civil War was going on. And France wanted to put down the rebellion in Mexico, circumstances that were happening in Mexico. And they were then from there, they were going to move up and help the South conquer the North. But when that happened in Mexico, that stopped that. So, to me, people can say what they want to say, but, that kind of helped America out and God's plan for America. And the North was the victors over the South, and, slavery was not permitted. So that was a big thing.
Yeah, thank you for that too. I'm going to get to the questions that we have for you, Hector.
Sure.
I'm going to start it off with Game Boy.
All right, Game Boy.
My first question. My first question to you is that with you being a part of the wrestling business for so long, and with these young boys pretty much coming out of schools, they've only been training for maybe a few months, less than a year. What is some of the most common mistakes that you're really catching nowadays that you really didn't see too much back in the old territory days and everything that these young wrestlers and performers are doing? What's some of the mistakes
you want me to tell? I'll be honest to you. Humility is a skirt, or it should be a covering that should be helpful to many of us in life, and they lack it. A lot of them lack it. A lot of them. This is what I find, and I don't condemn them, and I don't blame, but I found some that are humble, and humility is a trait that is not born. You're not born with it. You have to learn it, and it's something that through experience and being humbled many times, you learn to become humble. There's very few people that I've ever met that are truly humble and of a truly humble spirit that have been given that gift by God. There was one guy that I met in Mexico. He died in the ring. His name was Oro. You might have remembered him. His name is Oro, O-R-O. He was gold. Mm-hmm. That was his name of his outfit. And there was another brother. His other brother was Plata, and which is silver. And Oro, I met him in Mexico City back when I did Lasertron in Mexico in 1990, 91, 92. And that guy was the most humblest guy I've ever met. And I really, really, really changed my heart by meeting and talking with him. He received the Lord, and I had many a talk with him, and he was so wonderful and beautiful. He died in my cousin's arms in Mexico City after he threw a dive backwards. The guy caught him, but it didn't catch him right. He hit, and then there was everybody around him. They pulled him out, he hit on the floor and everything, and they landed. I think landed on him the wrong way. One of the guys landed on him the wrong way because it was like a double thing. I don't know exactly how it happened. My cousin Javier Yanes was working as the booker for Paco Alonso, which is the Luderoth. It was the EMLL, Empresa Mexicana de Lucha Libre, at that time. And he told me that he died in his arms. And he's in heaven right now. I believe him very much to be. I've had near-death experiences, not myself, but others that have. Eddie was one. And he happens to be in heaven that I know there right now, as far as even Art Bars happens to be in heaven too. Yeah, and that was a thing that Eddie communicated to me. Anyway, but another guy humble, Eddie Guerrero, my brother. The Lord used Eddie Guerrero, my brother, to humble me and to know a lot of things about humility. And humbling is not being stupid or somebody walking all over you. No, it's grace under control. You know what you're supposed to do. You know you're where you're at. You're humble because you know who God is, and He's bigger than you. And you learn that because of others, you have the opportunity to be what you are. And that's just what I find with these boys nowadays. They come out here, they think they know the world, though they think they deserve it, more than anybody because they're the new thing. You know what? Nobody's a new thing. You know what? Everything's been done and done many, many times over and over again. You know, it's every hole invented. My dad told me this. My dad, Hector Guerrero, told me this, son. He says, the holes have been invented many times before. He said, it's just who uses them and how they use them and what they call it. So I've seen holes that somebody says, wow, I've never seen that before. You know what? I've seen that before. I've seen things in Lucha Underground that have amazed me. But you know what? I remember seeing them in Mexico City when I wrestled back in 1975. I went to Mexico City, and I would see guys that would do 2.5 outside into the ring, into the crowd, into the guys. And I'm like, wow, I remember seeing that. I remember that then. You know, so it's not the first time. There's other guys that have done this before. Go ahead, man. Did that give you a little bit of understanding?
Yes, you did.
Maybe I know I've been branching off a lot, you know, but I want to share my heart and I want to share the truth. And God is so good to me. He's given me everything that I have, and that's why I don't like being bitter towards anybody. I'm very thankful to everybody. Thank you. Go ahead.
Well, thank you for answering my question. Okay.
Thank you for that. Want to ask you, Hector. I know you. Over the course of your great career, you worked in the AWA, correct?
Yeah, we did with Vern Gagne. Sure did.
Yes. And we wanted to ask you, I know sadly Vern Gagne passed away last week, and wanted to ask your memories of Vern Gagne and what it was like to work in the AWA.
You know what? I'll tell you what. When I went to work to the AWA, I met a gentleman by the name of Vern Gagne and his son Greg. First of all, they treated us like family. Vern knew of my dad and had relationships with my dad because my dad was a promoter. And sure, they talked. And they had met before. Vern knew that we were his sons, and he knew that we were trained well. The first impression for Vern was, wow, you guys, we ask you what to do, and you get it done. They didn't have to go and try to explain things to us and do things that, work it out for us. You know, I want to remind wrestlers nowadays that our wrestling was not choreography, as it is a lot of it now, and unfortunately, it doesn't leave the ability for a person to express themselves in the art of wrestling like it used to be. It is now very, very choreographed, and unfortunately, that happened. But let's get back to wrestling. Let's get back to Vern Gagne. Beautiful gentleman. Many, many, many memories. Hector Guerrero was my brother, dear brother, which I love him so. He was the first one to work for Vern. Maybe Chavo might have done so in past situations, but Mamba was the one that cemented in with Vern, and they started using him in Las Vegas. And Mamba called me up one time and he said, "Hey man, they asked me for bringing my brothers." And I said, I'm okay with that, but I want to talk with you. We talked. And we understood that, we're just one was going to be. We understood that we were putting up the family name and that the name would be carried on with the good. So then Chavo came in later in too, oldest of us. Chavo Classic, he's called his own now. My brother Salvador, his name is Chavo. And when now we were all three of us working for him. And all of a sudden, we traveled in. I remember traveling many times. I remember Vern being so gentleman with us, always come in, talk with us. One time he came in with Jerry Lewis and into the dressing room, and he introduced Jerry Lewis to us, and we had an opportunity to talk with Jerry Lewis and talk with, with Vern and chat a little while, and that was really interesting because Vern also did, you guys remember he did a movie called The Wrestler. And that was a great movie. Yeah. Anyway, those are good memories. I have good memories for the AWA. Very, very respectful. I have a lot of respect for Greg. I'm sorry not sorry, but I don't know where Vern's Christianity is and where he was. I can never tell, and we're not supposed to judge that, so I don't judge that. But my hopes are to see him later and to see him in eternity. As you and everyone else that I love in this world. Go right ahead.
Right. With that being said, Hector, I'm going to turn it over to our other correspondent, Toph. You there?
What's up, guys?
Hey, buddy.
Toph.
You got a
Hey, Toph.
Oh, hey, Hector.
question for Hector?
Hey, Hector. I'm a big fan of your work. A long time ago, and if this is crossing the boundaries, I apologize, but I remember a long time ago, I read that Eddie Guerrero was questioned why he left WCW, and I remember you were one of the first matches I ever saw. I remember when they turned Eddie into a bad guy, the heel, and he was having this feud with Chavo, and he was doing the cruiserweight thing, and they brought you in, and it was a really entertaining angle. And it was cool, but it wasn't long, and you were just sort of gone. And I always thought that WCW could do a little bit more with that angle. And would you mind spreading some light on exactly what happened?
Sure. I'll tell you the truth. The truth was I wasn't treated right, and I didn't want them doing. They were degrading the name Guerrero, and unfortunately, professional wrestling is what it is, and it's an entertainment sport. And saying it that way, it wasn't favorable for the name. What they were doing with my character, with me, because my character happens to involve my personal name. If it was a different name like Lasertron, which people know that I worked at too, and I'm okay with that. Kevin Sullivan used to love to use. He says, Hector, let's use Lasertron, and because I can do anything I want with him, and I say, okay, I'm cool with that. And but I really like Lasertron too because Lasertron was a world junior champion and the NWA. So, it all works to circumstance. Circumstances weren't favorable, and I had a meeting with my nephew and with my brother, and I said, I was talking about it today. I can't remember. I was talking to somebody exactly about that today. But what I said was, you know what? Keep the name up. I'm going to leave. Keep the name up. Because they're not using our name correctly, and it's instead of helping it, it's bringing it down. And the legacy that Gory Guerrero, which is my father, of truth and honesty and working in the ring. I think all Guerreros we've given the best in the ring. I think of all things that we inherited from Gory Guerrero was that when we wrestled in there, we wrestled in with our hearts. Number one. Number two, we didn't give 100%. We gave 120, 30, 40, 160, 120, 400%. We put it all into that match. We didn't make ourselves, we made the match. The match meant all to us. If you make the match, you make yourself, not your ego, not anything else. And when you make the match, you make the people happy, and you make the people enjoyable, and you enjoy the match which you had yourself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. Thank you.
But that's what happened. They weren't very favorable. I know there were certain entities, and I won't name their names. They know, and we've had run-ins before and afterwards, and I have nothing against them and all that. They didn't treat me right. I know that, but I'm okay with that. You know, the Lord's taught me to forgive and forget, and that's what we do. We forgive and we forget. And tomorrow's a new day. And if you work with them tomorrow, it's okay. You know, we can work together. You know, honestly and truthfully. You know, but not to open up to another abuse, because sometimes those were abuses. Go right ahead.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you.
Yeah.
I want to ask you too. I know a lot of fans have been asking this, and I'm sure, Hector, you get this asked a lot. Is of course the gobbledygooker. I know it's very infamous. And I know a good buddy. I'm not sure if you know who Sean Oliver is. He runs Kayfabe Commentaries, a big distribution in DVDs. He has a series called Top 5. And I know there was a series
the
where...
The Gooker's one of them.
yeah. One of the series, he had the fans voted. It was Top 5. It was like the worst gimmicks or awful gimmicks.
Yeah,
and when you know, I believe the gobbledygooker made either you were second, before only being beat by the Shockmaster, or you was number one. And everyone to this day talks about that. And if you can, Sean is like, tell us about how the idea came up, you being in that egg, Survivor Series 1990. Tell us about that.
Okay, good. First of all, it was not my idea. It was by New York, and who is the head of New York? You know his name. I believe that what I understand was his idea. Now he might have a different opinion of it, and I'm totally unaware of it. But what I understand, it was his idea. So when I was called because a good friend of mine, Dusty Rhodes, was working with him at the same time, and I was suggested. So when they called me and they said, we want to do something for the children. Now listen to what I'm telling you, okay? Every little bit, because I've said this with the Bill after. I said, not to downgrade anybody that's written about that's brought it down and done all this blog or whatever they want to do with it and made a big stink, even to the owner of that company, and done all that to him, which is wrong. He had a part. That was right. That was right. They wanted to do something for the children. They wanted to do something like the San Diego Chicken was at that time for baseball in San Diego, except they decided to do the Gooker, and they called it the Gooker. They wanted to do a turkey, and they wanted to bring in Survivor Series. And they brought it in with the egg, and they promoted it as egg sighting, the EGG sighting. So interesting, you know. And if you think about egg, EGG, that's Eddie Corey Guerrero. That was my little brother, anyway. But that happens to be my brother, Eddie. But there was maybe a door open that God used that to bring him in later. But anyway, I just thought about that right now. It's interesting. But it was something for the children. It wasn't now that they did it at the Meadowlands. My God, if I would have known the people, if I would have known the atmosphere of the venue, if I would have known the company like I know it now, I would have probably said no. I said, no. I said, you're doing it in the wrong way. Well, where do you think we should do it? Well, maybe how about someplace like Orlando? Because Orlando's geared for children. It's geared for that and that atmosphere, that family atmosphere, not the Meadowlands, not where it was that night. So it was not a very good night. I believe they booed the heck out of it. And it was Gene Okerlund. I love Gene Okerlund. God bless him if he's hearing right now. Gene, I love you, man. He said to me, I said, Gene, they're booing it because I could talk to the mask. Nobody could see that I was talking to the mask. And he said to me, Hector, let's get it over. And he worked his little tail off, following everything that I was doing. I flipped into the ring. He tried to flip into the ring. He landed on his, on his bottom. And then he tried to dance, and he couldn't. And I was doing all that. I did a round off, and then I landed on my feet, and then he tried to do that, and he tried to run the ropes. He fell down, and it was something that he was trying to do to me, and then I was doing the dance with the turkey and the straw. So when we came down, believe me, all the eyes were on me, like I had done something very wrong. And no, I had not done anything wrong. Nothing have I done wrong. The only thing was it was at the wrong place. And unfortunately, those that grabbed it used it as a tool and as a weapon against him, who is the owner. And they have done that for many years and have used it again and again and again. Now, I got a little beef against him, and one little beef is what they put me up one time. As the Gooker, I was asked to do it at Madison Square Garden. And they said to me, we want to feature the Gooker. I said, sure, no problem. So little to my understanding that when it was time for me to have showtime, we had already practiced it. There was lights and everything. They never turned off the lights on me. So I didn't know I couldn't see. The moment they turned all the lights off and they put the spotlight on, well, the only thing that I could see was white in the eyes that I could see through, because those eyes that I had on the mask were made out of white rubber, like golf balls, and they had holes in them, and that's how I could see. That's the only way I could see through the mask. So when they said, "Come on, let's go," they started pushing me, and I didn't want to go because all I could see was white. And I said, "I can't see." He says, "You're on," and they're pushing me in my back, and they're pushing me. Well, you know what? They forced me into it, and here I am blind in white light. I don't know where I'm going. I hit my shins on the stairways up to the ring. I'm bleeding, I know, because I got back and I was bleeding on my shins. I try to flip in like I used to flip in when I was in the regular shows. I couldn't see where to land because everything was white. Now, the moment they turned the lights on, I went right into my routine. I could do everything. I didn't mess up anymore. So I go back into the dressing room, right? And then Gorilla Monsoon comes up to me and he says, "You couldn't see." And I said, "Yeah, you think so? You think?" And he said, he didn't laugh. He just said, "We figured it out." He says, "Okay, I'm sorry." And then he walked away. But they looked at me like I had done something wrong, and I had never done anything wrong. It's just the circumstances that I was put in. Sometimes we're put into situations like that, and as professionals, we try to do the best that we can. But sometimes there are impossible situations, and that was an impossible situation for the Gooker that night. Now, the gobbledygooker, once again, I want to say it. It was a good idea. It's a great idea. You know what? And it was meant for the children. It wasn't meant for the adults. It was meant for the children. Because when we did go to Orlando, and when I did do it in Orlando as a gobbledygooker, I was received with open arms by the children. The children were cheering. They were happy. I knew that night he was there. He walked out, and they told me he had observed the whole performance because gobbledygooker was a performance. That's what it was. And he said that he nodded his head in agreement. He says, "You know what? I think he learned that night that this is the place that we should have done it. If at all, it should have happened in Orlando, not where it happened that night."
Right.
Does that answer?
It does. It definitely does.
White light.
Yeah, white light.
Yeah, white light. But you see, the white light with Christ, you can see.
Yeah.
Here you can. It was like a blind
white light.
You see nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is.
When I ask you to keep it going with the gobbledygooker, then I'll turn it over to Shinblade. You came back, if I'm right, to for the gimmick Battle Royal in WrestleMania 17.
Yes, he sure did. You know, that was God's plan too, because of that money that I got from that gig, I was able to marry my wonderful wife Penny. You know, I haven't always had the best times in my life. I've had 3 marriages. Penny was my third, but the right one, and she's the right one for me. I found that out through God. God told me that, and she's my true love. She's my soulmate. She's my life, as far as my wife being here, on the earth. And the Gooker, had his situations, and yes, I was there, and I enjoyed every bit of it. And Eddie was there, and I enjoyed being with Eddie that time.
Thank you for that. Shinblade?
Yes, Hector. I do remember you very, very fondly in TNA when it was actually good. I remember.
Wait. Hold on. Give me a break. Come here, explain me. Now I'm going to ask you a question. Tell me what you think when TNA was actually good. Come on, let me see. Why do you
go ahead.
Is it not good? Is it not good anymore? please.
I will say
Come
this.
on.
No. It is good. It's good. Like since the first of the year when they started revamping. But I've been on and off TNA like since 2010 when they brought Hulk Hogan and a lot of ex-WWE stars into it. And we talked to AJ Styles about it because some of us thought that TNA didn't need anybody. TNA was actually a good product by itself. That's why one of the moments I remember you from that was your affiliation with LAX. And I was asking if you could tell us about that.
You know what, LAX, I happened to stumble into it. They were very, very nice to me, both Sean and Dee. They're the LAX. And at that time, Conan circumstances had not been favorable for him here in the United States, and he went back to Mexico. And they needed somebody that would work with them, Latino style, My Spanish is a Spanish that was... I had a father that taught me English, and I had a mother that was so nitpicky about my Spanish. So I was only to the 2nd grade in Mexico. So I was brought, the Guerreros came over in 1962. It was about right before Kennedy got shot. And I remember because I've been being in the 2nd grade in the United States because when Mexico, you go to school between February and November. I don't know if it's changed now. I think it's changed now to our style. But when I used to go to school in Mexico, it's the last part of February, and you get off at the beginning of later part of October or first part of November. Then you had the November, December, and January off. That's the 3 months that you would be off. So unfortunately, I moved to Texas, El Paso, from Mexico City, and I'm put, instead of going to third grade, they put me in second grade because I didn't understand a word of English, brother. So I had to learn all over. But give me back centered again. Give me back on the question that you asked me, please. Forgive me.
I want to know your experiences with LAX when you bought into that fold, and how did you enjoy it?
Okay, so the reason I was saying this is because I had my mom that really.
You still there, Hector?
My mother, but she still lives, Doña Linda Guerrero, she teaches me, she has always taught me my Spanish to be very, very specific, to be very, to say it right, to write it, correctly, to, if I had any questions, I would ask her, and she kind of schooled me into it. So when LAX was, you see, they're bringing, D is a New Yorican. He's a Puerto Rican, but he's from New York. And his Spanish is going to be a little bit different than from the island people. And I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying it's different. Okay? Sean Hernandez is a beautiful guy. You didn't know that about Spanish?
You didn't know about the Spanish language being different?
Yes, everything. Spanish is like in English. In English, right? You guys are Jersey people talk different than the Texas people, right? And Tennessee people talk way different than people in California. So it's the same thing in Spanish, They talk it different, we talk it different. So so Sean Hernandez, he's a very, very talented strongman, very, very talented as far as wrestling strongman style in the ring, And he's got greater attributes. I wish he would utilize him because he's very good just wrestling. I'd love to. I've seen him wrestle several times, and I love him when he wrestles. It's great. He's a great wrestler, and I love him dearly. He's a good brother, and I like him a lot too. And what needed somebody that would speak the Spanish in a clearer, more dialect. Does that make sense? And so I was joined in, I believe. I was joined in, and then being at that time also they were marrying me into Willie Urbina and I as the Spanish commentating team. So it kind of worked out together. And so as it being worked together, before that it was Conan, and Conan was doing a great job with it, except the circumstances with him fell differently, and he had to leave the company, or he left the company on his own. I don't know. That's another story. That's somebody you can talk with yourselves with him, because with me, he's always been straight and direct, and he's been very respectful, and I'm very respectful to him, and we have a good understanding. Now, as far as Sean and Dee, I love them both. Very, very good wrestlers, both of them, and they were great as the LAX. They were awesome. I mean, it's just when I had an opportunity to be with them, it was great. Everything was good. And then it was time for it to leave, and so then they separated us, and then I got back and being in the commentating table where they said I belonged. It's just all right with me, I could have helped more. I have a. Let me tell you something. I have a little. I wish I could have helped them more. TNA. They just never gave me the opportunity. I could have really, really helped them a lot, and I tried to, and I would say, but they don't believe anything I say, and they thought that me as an old style wrestler, old school mentality. That's what I was told. And in certain ways, I am very old school mentality, but that's the basics. The basics is what gets it over and what makes it understandable. That's what I said at the beginning of the show. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, how about Selena's also? She was in the group.
Yes, she was a beautiful girl. That was great. There's some times there that there was a storyline that we did an interview there where I suggested where Sean would be doing his arms and had Selena doing it, like curling her up and down. We had some stuff. I had stuff out there, but they had different thoughts and they wanted to always do. And I'm talking about those that were in charge at that time, and talking about the people that wrote write the program. And I have respect for them too. You know, they have their ideas, and they have what they want to do, and they have to answer to what they write. You know, but everybody just listen a little bit. You know, maybe you can marry both ideas together and then make it a better product. That's what I was trying to suggest to TNA, and they never did. Go right ahead.
Thank you. Wanted to ask you too, Hector, is with you doing color commentary for Spanish, is there a difference of how you relate to those fans as opposed to you doing commentating for English? Like, is it do you have to speak faster? Like, how does it differentiate from regular commentary over here in English?
I don't see anything different, man. It's you're the same. Okay. It's the same principle. You're relating a sport that's in front of you, a entertainment sport, because that's what wrestling is. Again, I say it's an entertainment sport. Jim Hurt and Vince McMahon said it way back then, and that's what it is. It's entertainment sport. Interesting that when they said it, wrestling started becoming big after that, because it was out in the airwaves. Okay, hey, you know what it is? It's entertainment, yeah. But man, it's great entertainment, and we love it, and we would have it no other way. So what I'm trying to say is it being the way it is in Spanish, it's the same thing in English and Spanish. You make it interesting by reacting to it and reacting naturally to it. And I had a partner that yes, he speaks Puerto Rican, but he also speaks good and correct Castilian, which is Spanish. And that's what Willie Urbina really speaks the Spanish the correct way. And when we both spoke it, we would speak it, saying it correctly, and we would take these things in consideration, because we knew that there was going to be many a nation that would listen to it in Spanish. You would have Spain listening, you would have Puerto Rico listening, you would have Santo Domingo, you would have other Spanish markets that would be listening in South America, Mexico. At times they lost their opportunity with Mexico. I don't know how that happened, but it did. And then. But what I'm trying to say is, no, there's no big difference. The difference is how you relate it, and how, like, for example, Taz. Taz is so great. He will come up with some things that are great in the commentary. The same with Bobby Heenan. Great. Bobby Heenan is awesome. Mm-hmm. Then you have somebody that's so versed and so understanding. My good friend and mi estimado amigo, Mike Tenay. My God, Mike Tenay, man, he's like knows everything. He has studied it. He knows it from the Lucha Libre Council, because that's what he used to do when he was young. He's told me about it, followed my career, told me about me things that I knew that were true, and then told me things about myself that I discovered about myself that he had noticed he had noticed and observed of me that I'd never thought about that. And this is a guy that's so intuitive in his light and his understanding of wrestling that to not have him in a position where he's either commentating or he's helping into the wrestling business is a crime, and he's such a big asset to the wrestling business in total, whether it be working for any company at anyone at any time at any place. That's the type of person that Mike Tenay is.
And shout out to Mike Tenay. Our other correspondent, that's one of Toth's favorite commentators, Toth.
Really? I was a big Mike Tenay fan. I felt that TNA never used him to his strength. I liked how he was used in WCW whenever there was a cruiserweight match, like if they had somebody like Rey Mysterio, Ultimo Dragon, Psychosis, guys like that. Mike Tenay knew the names of the moves. He knew their histories. He was good for that. And then, like, when they did their regular stuff, like, your regular WCW guys, like, your Lugers, your Stings, your Hogans and all that, then Tenay just sort of, he was in the background. And he was a really good analyst that was there. And, like, in TNA he was okay, but in TNA they tried to use him as if, like, he was a main guy, like a JR or a Michael Cole, and it never worked,
I hear you. But the gentleman is unquestionably so versed and so profitable to any company, and he is awesome. I just, that's the way I want to be. You know what I mean? It's like when Mike and I talk, we have a very, very close relationship, and he and I sit down and we chat, and we talk about. He tells me what he understands and what he knows. He asks my opinion. I ask opinions back and forth with him. And it's something, a relationship that's been building over time. And Mike was one of the persons that God used to help me get into the wrestling business, and directly. And Dixie Carter was the one that actually, made the bids for me too, because I'm very thankful to her at that time, and all the way to this time, very, very thankful to all the Carters, her dad, David, and everybody, all of them. Very, very thankful for the kindness they showed to my family, kindness they shown to me, and the years of work, and I'm very thankful for that. Go right ahead.
What's your opinion of Lucha Underground, Hector? I think you could be a good add-on to that promotion.
Well, I tell you what, my nephew's in there right now, and I have total respect for him and what he's doing. He's doing great in there, and he's awesome. He's awesome. He's doing great. I see the product on TV, and I see at first that it's something we love to see. Where it's like all of us like to see wrestling, right, in its purest form. And we like to see the action. We want to see the moves. We want to see it build and build and build in the ring, not out of the ring. Now, lately, this is just my opinion, and I'm not saying just an opinion. I think they've gotten away a little bit from how they started it, because when they started it, it was almost all wrestling. Boom, 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 bitty, boom, bitty, boom, bitty, boom. And I'm like, wow, man, this is great. This is what wrestling needs. We need something like this. We need something that goes wrestling. Because this storyline stuff where, you create little things and this and that, that's good. And I understand that that's the future. They say that's the future. But I like Mike Rotundo one time. We were in Florida wrestling. And we was doing an interview, and he turned around and he said, and he looked at it, he said, gentlemen, it's wrestling. It says it on the marquee. Let's keep it that way. And that always stuck to me. And Mike said that. And Mike said, great wrestler, talking about Mike Rotundo. And and I realized that how, and then from there on, that's what my dad used to say. My father, Hector Guerrero, he always thought about wrestling in its purest form. And, wrestling is an art inside the ring. And that's why what I was trying to say earlier about the choreography now. Now the agents choreograph everything, they do it with the help. It's a unity, to try to make it the best. Now, we have pretty good matches, and you can't get away from that. But when you give it the freedom of it evolving through what the wrestler knows and what the other wrestler knows, and with the referee inside, it becomes what you call a concert. It becomes the greatness of people like an Eddie Graham knew this style that I used to know. Ciclone Negro, Dory Funk Sr., I'm telling you, big names. The Vern Gagne, Luke Fess. Listen, I'm in Mexico City, right? And I'm wrestling in my younger years. I'm in the 70s, and I was wrestling in Costa Rica, Veracruz, and in the stadium there, in the arena. It was around the arena, and we were our dressing rooms were under their bleachers, and anything happened, people would rumble on the floor. So we were hearing this rumbling, right? Oh, man, I had already wrestled. I had gone in and taken a shower, and I hear this rumbling going on. And then I hear, man, and then I'm thinking, well, you know what? Blackman, which is he had an outfit like Spider-Man, but it was black, and he was wrestling. He would make the people do that, because the things he would do. Remember I told you that all this stuff that I see now, I've seen it before? He was one of those guys that could do that. He could do somersaults out of the ring and land on the guys, and do 1.5. He'd do twirls and then 1.5 and do all that what I just saw in Lucha Underground lately. And he could do all that, and I could see that. So the people would rumble with all this stuff, right? So I'm hearing all this rumble, and I said, man, it's got to be Blackman. So I look inside, and he's over there showering. So I said, well, it's not him. So who is it? I go out, and I'm looking at a match between Luces and I think one of the Villanos. And Luces has one of them, and he won't let him go from an armbar. And he has him in an armbar. And he had been telling the story with an armbar up at that ring, that every time that other wrestler, that Lucha wrestler, would try to get out, Luces would somehow or another rumble him down and bring him down, and the people were who are eating it, man. I know it doesn't sound spectacular, but this is how this gentleman by the name of Luthes, who we know in the great history books is one of the greatest champions that we ever had, National Wrestling Alliance. He knew how to move a crowd, and knew how to do it just by wrestling. I sat down. I started watching all his matches, and believe me, I learned and I learned. And my hat take off to Luthes. He's not alive anymore today, but if he was, man, I don't know. I don't know if he saw wrestling today, what he would say.
we thank you for that. Definitely. We know. Unfortunately, Hector, hopefully we can get you back on the show. No, time is running very short.
Okay.
Real quick, is there anything you need to plug to let the fans know how to contact you, or any upcoming appearances that you have, real quick?
Yeah, listen, thank you for giving me that better opportunity. Listen, since my situation has changed and since now I'm on my own, not on my own, God's with me, but God's put in my heart to start consulting. Maybe all these things that I talked about tonight, the real truth and the real understanding of wrestling. I'm willing to help anybody, whether wrestlers, companies, promotions, just starting guys that are starting out, guys that are already seasoned wrestlers. And believe me, I've had a lot of conversations with many of them, even up to the toppest of it. And I've received good instruction from them as they've received from me. So what I'm trying to say is I'm opening up a consulting. It's called Guerrero Consulting. And you can get it by going online at www.Hector Wrestling Guerrero. Just remember my name, Hector, and put wrestling inside Guerrero. So it'd be HectorWrestling.com. That's my website, and just get a hold through me there, and I'll be glad to, very, very glad to do anything. My wife Penny, who's helps me with it, and I even have something where they can send in a videotape of a 30-minute videotape, and I'll give them some critique. And it's not to bring down, but it's to lift, but with the truth. And like I said, this is a consulting business I believe in. I believe in the truth. I believe in telling people the company is the real truth and nothing but the truth, and what it is, what our industry is nowadays. I think I've been involved in long enough to understand it.
All right, then.
Well, Hector, it's been an honor and a pleasure,
yes,
and hopefully we can have you back on the show very soon so we can tell more about your career. We thank you.
Thank you very much.
And I want to thank you guys, and I want to thank you for the wonderful things that you're doing, and I hope this grows for you. And I pray that the blessing of the Lord blesses all of you in your lives and your heart, and everybody that's listening. May the Lord bless you too, and make His face shine upon you, and give you a countenance of peace and understanding and joy and love. And that's my desire. Once again, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. You have a blessed day. Thank you.
Thank you.
You too.
Take care, Hector.
Everybody, that was the great Hector Guerrero, was known as the Gooker, Lasertron. So many great things. Thank you, Toe.
Great guy.
Thank you, NFC Game Boy. Shimbley. Yes, very great guy. Very great guy. We will bring Hector Guerrero back on very soon. I know that we had some callers. We'll be bringing him back on. In fact, we'll even dedicate the whole 2 hours for Hector to talk about his great career. I know we wasn't able to get across of some other things about his career for us, his time in WWF, wrestling as itself, and also Lasertron. Real quick, just want to promote next week is War of the Worlds, Ring of Honor meets for New Japan. Will be next Tuesday, May 12th, and next Wednesday, May 13th. It will be at the 2100 Arena, Philadelphia, PA, 7:30 bell time. Under the Mat Radio will be there, live, covering and doing exclusive work for Ring of Honor. And please don't forget, next Saturday will be Jim Ross live ringside with Jim Ross at Rams Head Live, one night only. If you need any other information, please go on Facebook, type in the Rams Head Live Facebook page. Tickets are in advance of $22.50. Day of event is $25. VIP tickets will be $60. Of course, it's at Rams Head Live. Showtime is at 8 p.m. Under the Mat Radio, we'll be doing exclusive work before and after the show with great old JR. And if you get anybody real quick,
and they're selling out.
Shout out. It is selling out.
I just want to thank the Negro Baseball League and Hector Guerrero and everybody for tuning in.
Yes. So, any shout outs?
Shout-outs to Gorilla Grodd on Flash, shout-outs to Gotham, and shout-outs to all my nerds out there.
Yes.
Right.
Shinblade?
Actually, Toph Gotham's finale was excellent. Can't wait for season 2. Be on the page. More interviews coming up with the great Kurt Angle, Scotty Tuhati, and a special interview with Tech and Kenji Kaimari. Once again, 2 episodes of the Road Trip series will be out this week, and I close myself with the Shy Hands.
Yeah, real quick, shout out to No More Curfew, Baltimore City, able to act like they have sense for once. So yes, as in this game we say we got our punishment early. Random shout out to the random voiceover D from those Arby's commercial. We really don't know who he is, but he sounds big, hungry, and he sounds very excited. Remember Arby's? They have the meat. Also, shout out to Ed Norris from 105.7 The Fan, a good old buddy. We'll be bringing him onto the show very soon. On that note, this is Tech, NSC Game Boy, Toph, Shinblade. Shout out to Saltine and everyone else. We will talk to y'all next week.
Hashtag
White Light.
Hashtag
Huggy Face Mayweather, son.
Hashtag